In the quiet town of Millhaven, Louisiana, strange things were often whispered but seldom seen. It was the kind of town where everyone knew each other's secrets, and tales of supernatural encounters were treated as bedtime stories for children, not something that affected real lives. However, one story would forever mark Millhaven, a haunting tale that no one dared to speak aloud, yet everyone knew. Jenna Monroe, a beautiful, lively 19-year-old girl with a heart full of dreams, had her life planned out. Engaged to Ethan Sanders, a kind, reliable man from the town, Jenna was ready to start a new chapter. But fate, or perhaps something darker, had other plans. The night before the wedding, Jenna couldn't sleep. Restless, she decided to walk through the fields near her family's modest apartment. She let her auburn hair loose, enjoying the wind's cool embrace, carrying the faint scent of her floral perfume. As she walked, she felt a chill but brushed it off as pre-wedding jitters. Little did she know, someone or something was watching her. Hours later, a frantic call came from Ethan's house. He had been found dead in his room, his eyes wide open, face pale as if he had seen something too terrifying to bear. No one could explain his death. His heart had simply stopped. The town was heartbroken, but Jenna's despair ran deeper. With Ethan's death, something in Jenna shattered. She tried to cope, burying her grief, but nights became her torment. She began to feel as though someone was with her when she was alone, watching, lingering, a presence just out of sight. She thought it was just the weight of her loss, until it began to speak. Soft whispers at first, brushing against her consciousness, blurring the line between dream and waking. "You are mine," it would murmur, a voice deep, possessive, sending chills down her spine. Jenna confided in her parents, who tried to comfort her, chalking it up to stress. But Jenna knew better. She felt the weight of something dark and sinister looming over her. Months passed, and Jenna began to regain some semblance of normalcy. She reconnected with an old friend, Brandon. Brandon was gentle, understanding, and seemed to be the only one who could make Jenna laugh. As time went on, a deep bond formed between them. For the first time since Ethan's death, Jenna felt a glimmer of happiness. One night, as Brandon drove Jenna home, they parked near the bayou, talking under the moonlit sky. Jenna noticed an odd silence around them. Even the crickets seemed muted, as though nature itself was holding its breath. She tried to shake the feeling, but a chill crept over her as Brandon leaned closer to kiss her goodnight. The next day, Brandon was found dead. His car had veered off the road, crashing into a tree. The police ruled it an accident, but Jenna knew this wasn't just bad luck. The presence in her room grew stronger, bolder, manifesting as shadowy shapes in the corners, whispers that now carried a hint of jealousy and anger. "You are mine, no one else," it would hiss, each word echoing in Jenna's mind. Desperation clawed at her as she realized that whatever this entity was, it wanted her and would eliminate anyone who dared to come close. Jenna's parents, Nathan and Leela, were devastated by the tragedies. They took her to every doctor and psychiatrist they could find, but nothing helped. Jenna's health deteriorated, she grew thin, her once vibrant eyes dulled with exhaustion, and the nights became worse. When the doctors offered no solutions, Nathan and Leela turned to their last resort, a local spiritual healer, Maureen. Known around Millhaven for her understanding of the supernatural, Maureen was an elderly woman with piercing blue eyes that seemed to see straight through people. As Maureen listened to Jenna's story, her face grew pale and her hands trembled slightly. "Jenna," she whispered, "there's something attached to you. A spirit? No, not just a spirit. A powerful, malevolent entity." She explained that some entities, like the one tormenting Jenna, could latch onto a person they found desirable or intriguing. This one, Maureen said, was obsessed with Jenna's beauty and innocence, traits that made her irresistible. But the entity was not a mere ghost. It was something older, darker, a jinn. an ancient entity that had crossed the veil from another realm. "Jenna," Maureen warned, "you must be careful. This jinn has already claimed you as its own. It will not allow anyone else to be with you, and it may even take your life if you resist." Maureen devised a series of rituals to protect Jenna, hoping to weaken the jinn's hold. The family followed her instructions meticulously, filling the apartment with protective herbs, lighting candles, and reciting ancient prayers. For a few nights, it seemed to work. The oppressive presence lessened, and Jenna felt a sliver of hope. But one night, just as Jenna was beginning to sleep, she felt a coldness unlike anything she'd ever felt before. Her bedroom door creaked open, and there, in the shadowy doorway, she saw a figure, tall and cloaked in darkness, eyes glowing with a piercing red light. It moved closer, slow and deliberate, its eyes never leaving her. The jinn whispered, "You are mine. No ritual can stop me." Jenna was paralyzed with fear, unable to scream or move. The jinn reached out, its shadowy fingers brushing her cheek, sending a wave of nausea and terror through her. As it disappeared, the scent of burnt wood lingered, marking the jinn's claim. Maureen realized that they were dealing with a being far more powerful than she had anticipated. She told Jenna's parents that the jinn was particularly attracted to Jenna because of her evening routines, going out with her hair down, wearing strong perfumes, and lingering near the dark, isolated parts of town. The jinn had mistaken these rituals as invitations, drawing it closer to her each time. Nathan and Leela were beside themselves with worry, but Maureen insisted that there was one final ritual that might work, a binding ritual that would trap the jinn in a sacred talisman. She warned that the ritual would be dangerous and could cost Jenna's life if anything went wrong. Desperate, Jenna agreed. On a moonless night, Maureen gathered them in a circle, placing candles around Jenna and chanting ancient words. As the ritual intensified, a chill filled the room, and the shadows grew darker. Suddenly, the jinn appeared in full form, its eyes burning with fury. It lunged toward Jenna, screaming, "You are mine!" Maureen finished the incantation just as the jinn was inches away, trapping it within the talisman. The room fell silent, and the oppressive weight lifted. But Jenna knew that while the ritual had weakened the jinn's power, it hadn't banished it entirely. It was still there, lurking, waiting. Years passed. Jenna's life never returned to normal. Though she was no longer haunted nightly, she felt the jinn's presence in her life, like a shadow trailing her every step. Relationships were impossible. Every time she grew close to someone, strange accidents would happen, or Jenna would see glimpses of the jinn in her dreams, its eyes watching, waiting. At 42, Jenna remained alone, isolated by the entity that had claimed her. Though the jinn's hold had weakened, it had left a permanent mark on her soul. Each night, as she lay in bed, she could feel its presence, a reminder that she was its forever. And though she rarely saw it now, the jinn's promise echoed in her mind, a haunting whisper in the silence. "You are mine." People in Millhaven would still see Jenna, a woman with a haunted look, her face forever shadowed by the ghost of a presence no one else could see. Some say she walks to the fields at night, as if searching for something, or maybe someone. And the town whispers that if you're alone at night, especially in dark, isolated places, you may feel a chill, a presence watching, waiting to claim you, just as it did with Jenna. A warning to anyone hearing this tale. If you ever find yourself alone in the dark with a chill that feels too close, take heed. For some entities are drawn not to places but to people, and once they claim you, they may never let go.